start this topic, we are discussing some basic concepts which are related to this topic. So first one, that is motion. Okay, what is meant by motion? Or when we say that object is in motion. Okay, now see here, suppose this is a plane platform. Okay, so plane, this is the box or any object which is at position A. Okay, when we apply the force, in this direction, then that object is reached at position B. That object is reached at position B. Okay, so we say that object is in motion. Okay, so from this example we conclude that object is changes its position from position A to position B. Okay, from this we conclude that object which is at position A, which changes A to B. Okay, that means that object is said to be in motion. Okay, so what is my motion? An object changes its position with respect to surrounding are known as motion. Okay, now next point, that is rest. Okay, this board is at rest. Why this board is at rest? Why we call that this object is in at rest position? Why? Because this object does not change its position. Okay, so what is by rest? An object does not changes its position with respect to surrounding is known as rest. Okay, now what are the types of motion? Okay, so first one type, that is rectilinear. Motion. Second one, circular motion. Third one, rotational motion. Okay, okay, next one, that is uniform motion, non-uniform motion. Okay, so first we are discussing this basic concept. Okay, now so when we say that motion is in rectilinear motion, okay, or what is meant by rectilinear motion? Okay, now see here, so first one type, that is rectilinear motion. Okay, so suppose this is the A, in straight line, then that motion, suppose that object is here, okay, this object is moving from A to B, but in straight line, then that motion is known as rectilinear motion. So we can write here the motion is in the motion is in straight line, motion is in straight line, okay, so that motion is known as rectilinear motion. Okay, now next one, circular motion. Next one, that is circular motion. Okay, so what we mean by circular motion? Okay, that motion is in circular form. Okay, from this. Okay, so now see here, what is meant by circular motion? An object, okay, or that motion revolves along the circumference of a circle. Motion along, this motion along the circumference, along the circumference of circle. Motion along the circumference of circle is known as circular motion. And rotational motion, what is by rotational motion? An object rotates along the axis of rotation. Okay, that means this is along the straight line. Okay, the motion is straight line is known as rectilinear motion. What is the circular motion? This motion along circumference, of circle is known as circular motion. And third type, that is rotational motion. The object rotates, along the axis of rotation, is along the axis of rotation. Okay, so these are the types of motions. Okay, okay, now the motion can be classified into three categories. Motion can be classified into three categories. Okay, so which are the first one, that is motion along straight line. Motion along straight line, that is, which motion along straight line is known as a rectilinear motion. Or one dimension, okay. Next one, that is motion in plane. So that is two-dimensional. And the motion in space, that is three-dimensional. Okay, first one, that is one dimensional, so 1D, that motion in a straight line. Okay, that object is moving from A to B. Okay, this is a one dimensional. Why? Because it is in a straight line. Next one, that is 2D, that means two dimensional. So what is my two dimensional? That motion is in a plane. Okay, now see here. This is x-axis, y-axis, origin. Okay, now we know that this space, or this is y-axis, this is x-axis. So this is known as xy plane. Okay. Okay. So that motion in a plane is known as which two dimensions. Okay. And in three dimensions, that motion is in a space. Okay. So these are the three categories of motion. That is first one dimension. What is by one dimensional? That motion is in a straight line. Okay, that is rectilinear. Okay, and next one, motion is in a plane. Okay, xy plane, yz plane. Okay, so this is the motion in two dimensions. And third one, that is motion in space. So that motion is known as three dimensional. Okay. Then next one, so distance. Okay, what is by distance? So see here, this is the A point, or it is known as a initial point or starting. Okay, if an object starts from A and going towards the point B. Okay, so B is the final position or final point. Okay, or it also known as the end point. This is the starting point, this is the end point. Okay, now that object moves from A to B. Okay, so that means that object follows a path, or that object covers the distance. Okay, so this is the what is by distance? The actual path followed by the body. Actual path followed by the body. It is known as a distance. Okay, so distance, next one, that is distance is a scalar quantity. Distance is a scalar quantity. Why? Because that of distance have magnitude only. Okay. Now next point, that is displacement. Okay. What is meant by displacement? Okay. So the displacement. Okay. Now same example. Suppose this is point A. That object is moving from A to B, then B to C. Okay, so that the A is the initial position or initial point. Okay, and C is the final position. Okay, now see here that object starts from point A and it follows the path A to B, then B to C. Okay, suppose this is 4 km and this is 3 km. Okay, so that the distance we know that the distance means the actual path followed by the body. That object is going from point A to B, then B to C. So the distance is equal to AB plus BC. So it is equal to 4 plus 3. It is equal to 7 kilometer. Okay. Now, what is meant by displacement? So displacement is the shortest distance. Between initial and final position. It is the shortest distance between initial and final position. It is the shortest distance between initial and final position. Initial and final position. Okay, so this is the right angle triangle. So we can find this by using Pythagoras theorem. Side 1 square plus side 2 square is equal to hypotenuse square. Why hypotenuse? We say that the hypotenuse is the displacement because AC is the shortest way. Okay, or the shortest distance. So displacement is equal to 4 square plus 3 square. 4 square 16, 3 square 9. So 16 plus 9, 25. 25 square root 5 kilometer. So the displacement is 5 kilometer. Okay. Displacement is 5. Now, according to this example, we conclude that the distance of an object is greater than displacement. Or from this, the distance is greater than displacement. Distance is greater than displacement. Okay. Now we take another example. Okay. This is the plane. Okay. That object starts from A and end to P. That means A is the initial position and B is the final position. Okay, and it covers a distance 5 kilometer. Okay, so now see this. Now see here, distance means actual path followed by the body, that is 5 kilometer. Okay, now displacement. So displacement means the shortest distance between initial and final position. So initial and final position, that is 5 kilometer. Okay, so now see, observe this. The distance and displacement both are same. Okay. Now here condition is that if that object is moving in a straight line, or the motion of that object is rectilinear, then the distance and displacement both are same. Then the distance is equal to displacement. Okay, distance is equal to displacement when motion is which rectilinear. Motion is rectilinear. Okay, so the distance and displacement are equal. Okay. Now, if the question is given that the relation between distance and displacement is, see here, the relation between distance and displacement is, okay, option number A, distance is greater than displacement, okay. Next one, B, distance is less than displacement, okay. Third one, that is distance is equal to displacement, and last one, distance is greater than or equal to displacement, okay. So which option of the following is correct? Okay, now see here, distance, now see here, first we neglect or remove the wrong options, distance and displacement. So distance is less than displacement? No. What is the distance? The actual path followed by the body. Displacement, shortest distance. So this one is the wrong. Okay, this one is the wrong option. Okay. Now see here, distance is greater than displacement. Okay, this option is correct, but when that object is in rectilinear motion, then distance also equal to displacement. So this option also wrong. Okay. Now see here, if the distance is equal to displacement, this condition for rectilinear motion. But when there is no rectilinear motion, then distance is greater than displacement. So this condition is also false. Now the distance is greater than or equal to displacement. If distance is greater than displacement, then that motion is non-rectilinear motion. Okay. If distance is equal to displacement, then that motion is rectilinear motion. So the option number D is correct. Okay. Now, next. Object is moving in a semicircle. Okay, that object is moving in a semicircle which starts from point A to and end to the point B. Okay, that means A is the initial position and B is the final position. Okay, and let R be the radius of that circle. Okay, 2. They told find the ratio of distance. Find the ratio of distance upon displacement. Okay, so now find how we find the ratio of distance upon displacement. Okay. So how we find the distance upon displacement? Okay. First of all, we find the distance. Okay. What is my distance? Distance means actual path followed by the word. Okay. Now A is the initial, B is the final equation. That object covers this path. That means that object covers a semicircular path. Okay. Now to find the value of semicircle, we know that the formula for circumference, that is 2 pi r. So that object cover here half circle. So we get the half into circumference. Half into circumference. So which is equal to half into the formula for circumference is 2 pi r. So 2 to get cancelled, it is equal to pi r. This is the distance. Okay. Now what is mean by displacement? Okay. So displacement. Now we find the displacement. How we find the displacement? We know that the displacement means the shortest distance between initial and final point. So here A is the initial, B is the final. So this is the shortest distance. So displacement means R plus R or diameter. Okay. So diameter is equal to 2 into its radius, that is 2r. Okay. Now to find the ratio, so substituting these two values in this equation, so we get distance. The value of distance is pi up to pi r upon the displacement is 2r. So r get cancelled. It is equal to pi r. Okay. As like this, the examples are coming in JEE and NEET also. Okay. Let's see another example. Like a particle which is at position A. The particle is moving 5 kilometer to east, 5 kilometer towards east, then 12 kilometer towards north. That means here. So this distance is 12 kilometer. Okay. Find the displacement. Find displacement and distance. Find displacement and distance. Okay. So distance is equal to which one? 5 kilometer plus 12 kilometer. That is 5 plus 12, which is equal to 17 kilometer. Okay. Now distance. Okay. So distance is the shortest distance. So by using Pythagoras theorem, we get 5 square plus 12 square, which is equal to hypotenuse square. 5 square 25 plus 12 square 144, which is equal to 169. That is 30. Okay. So this is the displacement. Okay, next point, average speed. Okay, so average speed means the total distance. Average speed means total distance upon total time. Okay, now see, let's take an example. Okay, an object which placed at point A, okay, at a distance s1. That means point A is placed at a distance s1 from point O. Okay, and this object is moved semicircularly, or that object is following semicircular path and reaches at point B. Okay, right now particle A, okay, which is situated at distance s1 from point O. Okay, at time t is equal to t1. This particle follows circular path. This particle follows semicircular path and reaches at point B. Okay, at time t is equal to t2. Okay, so the point B, that means this is the final position. Okay, and A is the initial position. Okay, so which reaches at point B at time t is equal to t2, where point B is at a distance s2 from point O. Okay, so now to find the average speed, the formula for average speed is total distance upon total time. So that object covers this circular path, that means total distance. So the total distance is path length, that is path length is ACB upon total time, that means T2 minus T1, okay, so this is the average speed. Okay, now next one, that is average velocity. We already learned what we mean by speed, the rate of change of displacement with respect to time. What we mean by velocity, the rate of change of displacement with respect to time. Okay, so average velocity, formula for average velocity is displacement upon time. Okay, so displacement upon time. Okay, so displacement is here, that means s2 minus s1. So we get the shortest distance. Okay, so that is s2 minus s1 upon total time t2 minus t1. This is the average velocity. Okay, so the average velocity can be calculated by using this formula, total displacement upon time or displacement upon time, and average speed is calculated by using the formula total distance upon total time. Okay.